Press and hold the center power button to power on the bike. Hold down the plus and minus buttons simultaneously to reach the settings menu. Scroll down and press the center button to select the battery lock page, and then press it once again to unlock and eject the battery. Place your hand below the battery to support it. Once the top end of the battery is disengaged, press the handle to release the battery and lift it out of the bike. With the bike inverted, turn the crank and shift the derailleur to the highest gear, which is the smallest cog. Cut the zip tie securing the motor cable to the frame, and then disconnect the motor connection by pulling the two motor connection plugs apart. Carefully wiggle off the rubber grommet from the rear axle nut on the drive side. Use an 18mm open-end wrench to loosen and remove the axle nut and washer. Repeat these steps on the non-drive side. Note, a box end 18mm wrench can be used on this side. Use a 4mm hex wrench to loosen and remove the two kickstand mounting bolts. Remove the kickstand. Tilt the derailleur back and lift the rear wheel up and out of the dropouts of the frame. On the drive side of the wheel, carefully remove the following from the axle/motor cable: rubber axle protector, axle nut, axle washer, and torque washer. Slide the cassette lock ring tool over the motor cable and position it onto the cassette lock ring. Hold the cassette in place with a chain whip while turning the cassette lock ring tool counterclockwise. Note the smaller spline on the free hub and the cassette gears. Position the cassette onto the free hub with the corresponding splines in the proper orientation. Position the smallest cog in the same manner. With a thin layer of grease on the threads, install the lock ring, turning clockwise. Snug it in place with the cassette lock ring tool and torque it to 40 Nm. Reinstall the torque washer with the tab facing outward, followed by the washer, axle nut, and rubber axle protector. Remove the valve cap and press the valve core inward to release the air pressure completely. Use a tire tool to lift up the bead of the tire all the way around the upward facing side. Remove the tube from the tire and then lift the tire off the wheel. Swap the tire and tube. Unroll the tube, attach a pump, and pre-inflate the tube just enough to allow it to take shape. Position the new tire onto the wheel, ensuring that the tire logo is aligned with the valve stem hole and the tread is in the proper rotational direction. Work the lower bead onto the wheel. Install the tube by first inserting the valve stem into the hole in the rim, and then work the tube into place around the wheel. Work the outer bead all the way around the rim. If possible, use only your hands, and if a tire tool is necessary, be careful not to damage the tube. Inflate the tire to the recommended pressure, 40 psi, and ensure that the bead is fully seated all the way around the wheel on both sides. Replace the valve stem cap. Lift the derailleur back, guide the rear wheel back into the frame, and ensure the axle fits fully into the dropouts of the frame. The torque washers should be facing upward toward the opening. Replace the washer and axle nut on each side of the rear wheel and torque them to 40 to 45 Newton meters. Reinstall the rubber axle protectors on either side. Reinstall the kickstand and 2 original bolts using a 4mm hex wrench. Reconnect the motor cable connection by aligning the arrows on the plugs and firmly pressing the connection together. Replace the zip tie to attach the cable to the frame. Trim the excess zip tie. Reinstall the battery by inserting the bottom first and pressing the top to lock it in place. Press and hold the center power button to power on the bike.